Last Tuesday on October 9th, Elton John played Nassau Coliseum, and I was able to witness it. What's going on, guys? It is Radigan from Radigan's Corner. So, this week, I witnessed history. I got to see the one, the only, Mr. Elton John. I mean, that was so awesome. I mean, it was such a great concert. I mean, it blew my mind. I was blown away. I mean, it was like, it was fucking great. I mean, I just couldn't believe how well it was. It was just such an amazing show. I'm a huge fan of music, but I never really go to that many concerts. I've only went to 3 concerts in my whole life now. When I was in first grade in 2006, I saw Willie Nelson and John Fogerty at Jones Beach. And when I was going in the 7th grade in the summer, I saw Paul McCartney at Yankee Stadium in 2011, and now I've seen Elton John at the Coliseum. I'll never forget it. It was a really great concert. I mean, like it's so funny. Like you've listened to an artist for years and years, and like it's been such a while because like I never really thought I was gonna see Elton John. Like when I was like in the music, I always thought like, oh, that'd be really cool to see him. But I never really thought that was gonna happen. And once this tour, because this is his last tour that he's doing, the Farewell Goodbye Yellow Brick Road tour, which was the show that I saw, which was for that tour, because it's gonna be his last tour. And when I heard about that, I really wanted to see the show, just because I thought it'd be really cool to witness his performance. Like I was afraid, but I didn't get the tickets on time, and the tickets were like sold out. And thank God that Tony was going to the show, and he had an extra ticket. So he gave it to me. And and I was so excited and it was great that I went with him, and we just had a great time to the show. It was so awesome. And it's so funny. Like the first memory I honestly have of hearing an Elton John song was like when I was like I'm probably before kindergarten. I heard the song Benny and the Jets on the radio, and I remember when I was little, I was curious on like what artist does this song, like does each which song. I always got like was interested in like who does a song. And I remember my parents told me it was Elton John. And the thing that was so funny about it was that in the song Benny and the Jets, he does a high falsetto part. And when I was little, I thought that who else was doing that? Like who's doing that part? And they're like, no, it's still Elton John. And I was like blown away because I was like, what? I mean, he's doing like he's singing like regularly in a normal voice and doing a high falsetto. I mean, at that time, I thought it was mind blowing for me, just because like it was shocking for me to see like a person's voice change like that, so drastically. Like, and it was really cool how he was able to do that in songs, go from like his normal voice to like a really high voice. And I remember, I listened to other songs, and he had like a really like low voice too, because I remember when I heard the song Philadelphia Freedom. When I heard that song, I'm like when I say who's that, I'm like, that's Elton John. I'm like, but he has like such a low voice, it doesn't sound anything like him. And I feel like that was a cool thing too. Like like he had like his voice can change. And he's got a great singing voice. I mean, he really does. And he can play the piano all right. I mean, like if you haven't seen if you haven't seen him perform live, or has seen any videos of him play piano, check it out on YouTube. Just check out his music, and just check out his piano playing, because it's incredible. Like that's like he's an insanely good pianist. Like he really is. And like the songs that he was playing. I mean, they were just incredible. I mean, I knew every song that he played except one song, and I'm not sure like what it was. Like I was hoping that I would remember one of the words from it so I can go look it up, but unfortunately, I can't remember the words to the song at all. Which I mean, it was a great song, but I just yeah, I can't remember the words to it. I wish I could. But yeah, no, it was just oh god, it was just I mean so great. I mean, and the thing that was funny too is um like how I was saying like the first song I heard from him or the first song I remember hearing from him was Benny and the Jets, and of course the first song he played was Benny and the Jets. And the thing that was funny about it is because me and Tony were still going through the security check-in at the Coliseum. And when we, like, and like, I was wondering because the show started at 8, and it was around 8 something. I was wondering like, oh, are we gonna are we gonna be there on time? And once we're getting through the security check-in, we hear like the piano noise play, and we're like, oh, it's starting. And the thing is, I can't remember what that piano note opening was from. Like I think it's either from Pinball Wizard because he actually did a cover of that song in the 70s. And it was either that or a song called Gray Seal, which is on his Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album. I think it was from Pinball Wizard that the opening piano chord. I don't know if anybody has seen like one of his shows, knows that intro. If you do, leave that in the comments. I would like to know if that was either Pinball Wizard or Gray Seal. And yeah, no, that was really cool. And yeah, and the thing was, and then after that opening, we hear the first notes to Benny and the Jets, and like like the little suspense to it, like to the song, like the opening of it. And like what was really cool, I thought, was that this was just like a little thing, was walking like entering the arena, and he's in the middle of playing Benny and the Jets. I mean, it's like a dream come true, honestly. I mean, this is a guy that I've heard on the radio since like like how old? I can't remember how old. Like since I was like like 3, 4, or even younger. Like someone you heard your whole life, and you're finally witnessing them for the first time in a performance, which took 19 years to see him live, like because I'm only 19, but yeah, and like no, that was just like incredible. I mean, like I couldn't believe it, like seeing that, like and like when I went in and saw and took my seat, I was just like so into the concert. I mean, the song, yeah, like I said, I knew every song that he played. It was really, I mean, it was really cool. I mean, some songs he played. I mean, most of the songs he played were songs that pretty much everybody would know. If they're like, even if you're not really like a huge Elton John fan, you would know most of the songs that he's played because if you've listened to like that type of radio your whole life, like I have, like 60s, 70s, and 80s type of radio types of music on the radio, you would know most of the songs. Some songs you wouldn't know because they were on album tracks, and you'd kind of have to hear the albums to know some of the songs. And yeah, like no, it was incredible. I mean, like I'm trying to pick out a few songs that like what was really cool to see him do. What was really cool to see him do. I mean, it was great when I got to see him play Benny and the Jets, of course. Philadelphia Freedom. I mean, when he played Crocodile Rock, I remember like Tony was saying like if he doesn't play Crocodile Rock, I'm gonna be upset. And he played Crocodile Rock. Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting. He played like one of my favorite songs from him, The Bitch Is Back. And that was just such a great song to him to play. Like I could see the people dance in the audience when that song came out. Like everybody was sitting, like there were people standing up, and there was just like people having just such a great time. And it was a really good audience too. It wasn't like one of those crazy audience that you would see today for probably like like a new coming artist. This was a very controlled audience. They clapped at every performance. There was no people really like screaming out loud. It wasn't like, of course, the Beatles concerts in the '60s where like the screaming was so loud that you couldn't even hear them play. No, no, it was really good to hear all the songs. I mean, like, and yeah, it was a mix of people who I saw. Mostly people were like maybe I would say like in their 40s, 50s. That I saw the majority looked like older people. I didn't really see that many people my age really, or like who was at the show. But no, it was really cool, and the effects. I mean, the special effects for the show were great, and I mean, like and the thing too that was so good is like he really interacted well with the audience. Like he was just so great at communicating with people, and like he was talking about everything. He talked from his songwriting partnership with his lyricist Bernie Taupin, who's been his writing collaborator for like 51 years now. And like that was real cool hearing the story about that. I was hoping, but this was just a fantasy that like maybe Bernie Taupin would be there too, and he would come out in the audience. But no, I don't think he was there. And no, he was talking about because he's like he has like a foundation for AIDS. He was talking about the Elton John AIDS Foundation, and yeah, he was talking. He even mentioned that because he's raised a lot of money for AIDS. And yeah, like no, that was really cool. And his band, like I can't not talk about an Elton John concert and not mention his band. I mean, that band was incredible, and some of the people have been with him since the beginning. Like for instance, like the drummer Nigel Olsson has been with him since like in 1969, and the guitarist Davy Johnstone, he's been with him since the album Honky Chateau. And yeah, he like Dave Johnstone's a great lead guitarist. Yeah, and yeah, it's pretty much the same people from his original band, except his bassist Dee Murray, because Dee Murray died like 26 years ago. But yeah, and also another great person from his band, from like the first like really big Elton John band, which was the percussionist Ray Cooper. And oh my god, I mean, he is an incredible percussionist. I mean, like he can, like like because there definitely is a difference between drums and a percussionist. Like percussionist is pretty much like playing any type of form of drum. Like like a drummer is like, or the way I see it, I don't know. Like this could be a whole a totally different term, but how I see a drummer is usually just somebody who plays like with the sticks with the drum sets, and but like a percussionist like plays everything that like they can tap on, and like I mean he can play, I mean, the tambourine so well. I mean like like of course anybody can play the tambourine, but not like him. Like you can play yeah, like I'd never seen somebody play tambourine like that in a form of art. I mean, that is incredible tambourine playing. I mean, he can play like any, yeah, like he can just like win it on like the tambourine, like, and just like hold out on a note on the tambourine, and it's incredible. I mean, no, he was insanely good. And if you haven't seen like in the '70s, in the late '70s, and sometimes like throughout the years, he and Ray Cooper have gone on like live performances, just them, like they've gone on tour, just the two of them. And like, which that's really cool to see. Like a famous example was when Elton John played in Russia in 1979, and the tour just featured him and Ray Cooper on percussions. And that's like that was a real, and if you haven't seen like YouTube clips on that, definitely check that video out, because that was good. That's like great. But really, I mean, if you haven't seen that much about Elton John, like I would definitely check out his music, because his music is great. And if you ever have the chance to see him live, like you definitely should go and see him live, because it's an incredible show. It'll blow your mind away. He puts on a great show. I mean, there are musicians who I've heard like are who are great recording artists, and they sometimes maybe don't put on the best stage show. that was not the case at all with this. This was one of the best stage shows, I think. Even though I don't go to that many concerts, like I was blown away by it. I think like he puts on definitely a great show, and it's sad that it's almost at the end because it's like it's his last tour, even though the tour does last for 3 years. And I don't know if he's like, because I remember hearing him say that his last stop was going to be America too, but America was also the first stop, because I heard him saying something that he wanted to end at America too, because that's where he really became like, Elton John was in America first, even though he's an English person, he's from England. He like, because he was having a hard time, getting successful in England, that they moved the album, his second album at the time, Elton John, that features, of course, the famous song Your Song. They shipped that out to America to see how that would do over there, and he played at the Los Angeles club, the Troubadour, and and he like kind of became an overnight star there in America after that, and. Like definitely, if you ever have the chance to see him live, I would definitely go check him out live. And yeah, so I don't know if he's also playing America Last too. I know that the tour lasts for 3 years, and it's a really good show. I mean, he really is going out with a bang. And I think, like, he's just, like, really incredible. And, like, the thing, too, is, like, sometimes, like, you wonder with an artist, like, who, has been around for a while, and you wonder how they're going to do live, if it's just, like, because I guess some people see these shows as an oldies act. Not at all, to me. This is not even close to an oldies act. I mean, this is something. I mean, this concert was so up to date. It wasn't like going to like some like trivia band, or like some like going to like a 50s trivia band, or any type of tribute band. Because when you're going to a tribute band, or like how I feel like an oldies act, which can be like like kind of like maybe like like music that was popular at a certain time and not anymore, like almost like hypothetically disco, like like, because I feel like people go to those performances for a certain nostalgia, and like for this type of performance, like on John concert, I don't feel like you don't have to go for that for nostalgia. You can go as like an everyday, like even if you're just a fan of music, like you should definitely check that out, because it's a really good show to see. Like, and the special effects were really cool I mean, they were really cool special effects. I mean, like for instance, like with his piano playing, he like he plays on, Elton John usually always plays on the left side of the stage. And I remember like watching him like through one of the songs, and all of a sudden I see like he's in the center. I'm like, wait, wasn't he over there? And then I see later that the piano was moving. So the piano was moving around the stage, and then he went like, once I noticed that once it moved to the very end, to the far right, because I'm like, how the hell did that happen? It's like witchcraft, and it was like, I mean, that was really cool too. I mean, that was just like awesome. And like for instance, another cool effect was when he played the song, which is on Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Some people might not know it. It's called Funeral for a Friend and Love Lies Bleeding. It's one song. It's an 11-minute song. It's two songs like fit into one. And like I was so glad, because like when he started playing Funeral for a Friend, I'm like, please, he's got to play Love Lies Bleeding too. I mean, please tell me he's playing that like right after. And he played that after, and that's the first track from Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. But yeah, like that was just like so cool too, and they had like a little effect. And an interesting fact actually behind that song, Funeral for a Friend, he was actually writing that music as like like some music that he would want to hear at his own funeral. And that was and that song was written in that song was in from the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album, so which is like 1973, which actually the album actually just went through its 45th anniversary. And I'm getting a little off topic, but yeah, no, like that was incredible. And I got to talk about the ending, like how he ended the show, because he was playing Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, and then he and the band, and sometimes you wonder what he was doing, because like sometimes after a song played, he would stand up and walk around and take a bow, and you sometimes wonder what he would do, because he was standing in certain places, and you wonder like what is he doing, what's going to happen next. And so once they play Saturday nights, once they finish playing Saturday nights All Right for Friday, the whole band, they all get together and they all just take a bow together, and they walk off the stage. And I was wondering, like, is that it? Because the one thing I felt is like, how could it be over? Because he hasn't played two songs that are big that you would have to hear at like John concert, especially for this tour, which was Your Song, because that was like the song that got him to where he is, and of course Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, because hello, that's the title of actually the tour. And so like so they went on, and Tony's brother was like he'll come back, and like so like he does come back, and he played Your Song on the piano by himself, and then the band later came back and backed him up again on that. And yeah, oh yeah, that was there too. Some songs he even played by himself on the piano, and some he actually played with just Ray Cooper on percussions. So yeah, no, that was really incredible too. That was and yeah, and yeah. So we ended with Your Song, and then he ended, of course, with Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. And yeah, and of course, like the last few songs, like pretty much the audience was definitely, you could definitely hear the audience participate. And yeah, and of course with the end of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, I think it was that song he even said, "You can sit along with us too." And yeah, it was really no, and the way he ended it was pretty much he like because he like the thing that was great too was like a few songs before he thanked everybody for being like supportive through his time, and like he really thanked people who listened to his music, because he said like wouldn't they wouldn't be here. I know, of course, a lot of artists say that they wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the fans. But it is nice. It's really nice when they say that, because it like because like it's a really nice thing that they like are like nice, and like are nice to the people who support them. And I feel like that's good. Like because there are some musicians who really, I feel like sometimes really don't like treat their fans nice, but he treated his fans great. Like he was really like great to the audience. He really was. And yeah, so he ends the show with pretty much like, so after he plays Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, he stands up and he goes up on a pedestal, and the pedestal, he's like waving goodbye, almost like how somebody would wave goodbye if they're going on a rocket ship or something. And he just like waved goodbye like rocket ship, no, like rocket ship, rocket man, no pun intended. But and anyway, okay, I'm getting a little off topic there. But yeah, so he goes on a pedestal and is waving goodbye, and like it almost looked like the royal wave, for instance, like a little like that, like. But and like, no, that was just like incredible. And then like after that, like after he goes on the pedestal, he goes all the way, like, yeah, it's like he goes all the way up, and he like, and then like the graphics, like, well, no, not graphics, like the effects have like him disappear, and you see he's on the other side of the yellow brick road, and it shows yeah, like that tour picture that picture that they had of him next to that tour poster that they had of him with the yellow brick road. And it ends with the ending credit, like they have like kind of these somewhat ending credits with the song that was in the 70s called "Are You Ready for Love" that he did. And he didn't play that song in concert, but they ended it like it on, like they had it like playing through the stereo, the song "Are You Ready for Love." And so yeah, so that was pretty much the show. And it was a really great show. I'm really, yeah, like, Elton John's just such an amazing artist. I really, because I really did get into his music. Like, I always was an Elton John fan when I was, like, little, because I always liked his music, but I wouldn't really call myself a big Elton John fan. But I gotta say, in my senior year of high school, I really kind of was, for some reason, I don't know how I really got more attracted to his music, but I just was listening to more songs, and I was realizing, wow, like this stuff is really good. And I really just started getting into like like the history of Elton John and the history of his music, because like if you think about it, I mean he's made so many albums. I mean like there's like not a lot of artists like that still make music that have made a lot of artists that I mean not that made a lot of albums. Like Paul McCartney is one of the other few I think of who's made so many albums as well. I mean Elton John's made I think around 33 studio albums. Like he's made like only like that's not even including like greatest hits albums or like live concerts or soundtracks even. But like yeah, no, I mean that was yeah. So I just really got into his music, and I really started listening to more of like the album tracks, and he's got a lot of good stuff to listen to. I mean, he's got so many songs too. I mean, it's like it's hard to listen to them all, especially from the 70s too, because there's so many songs that like like you wouldn't know that he played because it was on an album, and some people don't know the album songs that well, especially if they've just listened to Elton John on the radio. You're not gonna really hear an album song because the radio doesn't really play that much album tracks as it does with singles. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video. And yeah, I can tell this is a long video. It's one of the longest videos I've done. And yeah, so yeah, so this is something new I was doing on my channel, and hope you guys like it. Like where I talk a little bit about music, because I've always wanted to talk about music on this channel, and I thought like talking about my experience with the Elton John concert was a great way to do that. So yes, I definitely want to do more videos talking about music as well. So yes, that's pretty much it. So hit that thumbs up, hit that bell notification, hit that like and subscribe button, and yeah, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.